Hi friends, Olivia here. This is another video about my hand applique. I have started the Raven quilt by Blackbird Designs. I'm having a lot of fun with the process. I have posted a video doing an applique tutorial showing you how I do my hand applique, and then I've also posted a video that's just kind of me prepping my pieces for this block. And this video I'm going to show you how I lay out a block. The blocks in this quilt are fairly large and there's quite a few pieces, so I go through a bit of a process to make sure everything's laid out and ready to stitch down. I wouldn't call this a tutorial, it's more kind of here's how I do it, watch along in case it helps type video. But it just kind of shows you how my brain works and how I like to go about doing this. Any of the tools that I use in this video you can find in my shop on Etsy, Hillside Rookery. One more tip I wanted to insert that I did not mention in my tutorial and that a viewer pointed out to me is that when you're stitching down your pieces with inside points, get an extra stitch in there because the fabric's a little thinner than where you had to clip it. So I just wanted to share that one with you. Anyway, if you see anything that you would like to provide feedback on or that you have questions about, or if, please comment down below, or if you have any ideas for videos that you'd like to see related to hand applique, or if you need help with anything, let me know that as well. So I hope this provides some help or some interest, and thanks for stopping by and watching. These are pretty big blocks. The fabric called for these squares is 20.5 inches squared, and that's so once they're sewn together they'll be a 20-inch square because of the 1/4 inch margins along the sides. So what I've done is I have cut my piece of fabric bigger than that to kind of give me room for error in the cutting and to kind of give me room for fraying as I work on this in hand. Some of these threads will come off and I don't want to end up with something once I've done all the work of the hand applique, I don't want to get to the end and have something smaller than 20.5 inches squared. So I've cut it to it's roughly 21.5 inches squared. And when I'm all done with the applique, I will trim it to be the exact right size. Here is block 1. This is the grid that they give you, and you can see each square is an inch. When I prepped the pieces, I paid fairly close attention to how these pieces are going to lay on top of each other. I am sure that there are parts where I forgot to do that, and so they won't be perfect, but for example, you see this hill right here? This is my hill piece. When I prepped it, I did not finish the bottom because the bottom is going to be sewn over in the seam allowance. So it's going to lay down and I'm going to sew over this bottom at the edge of the block. When I did this tree trunk, I didn't finish the ends that go under the bird or the end that goes under the hill. So that's an example of what I paid attention to when I prepped the pieces. Like I'm looking at this crow right now and I don't think I remembered to not finish this part that goes under the wing. So but I will make the best with what I did. But I bring it up because it's also going to be important when we lay the pieces out to make sure we're layering them correctly. So I wouldn't want to sew this, I wouldn't want to sew the acorn down and then go sew my hill down because the acorn overlaps over the hill. So this needs to be there first. But the trunk of the tree goes under the hill. And this stem here goes under the hill. So these are all things that I have to take into account when I'm laying out my pieces. I like to show myself where the lines are that I'm going to be eventually cutting my fabric down to. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a ruler. I'm using a ring light for this video, so it's going to reflect a ring of light, just to give you a heads up. I'm going to use my Sew Line mechanical pencil. The marks that I'm going to be making right now are showing me where my square will likely eventually be cut. So I'll be cutting along these lines, so it doesn't matter what I use to mark it really, because it's not going to show up in my finished piece, so I don't need to worry about how it disappears. I am going to just mark a first line as a starting point. I'm going to give myself roughly a 1/2 inch. Okay, so now I have my square. So I know what this fabric is supposed to be cut down to. So remember that when everything's said and done, there'll be a 1/4 inch seam allowance along all sides. So I know that that 1 inch grid they gave me actually doesn't start until I go a 1/4 inch in. So I want all the action to be within a 1/4 inch of the square that I've drawn. I just don't want to, me personally, I don't want to draw that 1/4 inch line and risk that when I go to sew it, some marking's going to show up on my on my square that I work so hard on. But I know everyone has different tools they use. I've used things like friction pens and water-soluble pens. So you could also use that if you need to draw that line for yourself. I want to mark the 1 inch grid, even though it might be a little time consuming. But I want to do it on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along the edges, and in these little margins that I've made myself that I'll eventually cut off, I'm going to make 1 inch check marks. I'll start with like a check mark that's just a 1/4 inch from the line, and then I'll do, 20 different inch check marks till I get to the end. So hopefully that makes sense. And I think that's really going to help me when I'm laying things out to the grid and I get to parts that might be a little harder for me to eyeball. You really, you could just eyeball all of this. That's no problem, but I think I would feel more comfortable if I marked the lines. So now I've got my rough little grid, and it'll be on the outside of the piece that I eventually cut down. But this helps me so that I can, when I'm laying things out, at any point in the process, I can say, okay, his beak, is this many inches from the left, this many inches from the top, and then I can just go use my marks to find that spot. So that's basically what I'm aiming for here. So now I've got my grid. I am going to start figuring out how I want to lay this out. All right, so I gathered my pieces together, and there's a couple of things I'm going to use. I'm going to use my Clover applique pins to secure things that I might want to unsecure later, or I want to keep on but I don't want to glue on yet. And this is my basic glue from Roxanne's. Temporarily hold things. Takes about 3 to 5 minutes to dry, though I usually give it a bit longer, and it will glue things down temporarily until you use water or soapy water, or basically wash it to get the glue out, though it's not super secure. So I choose not to glue everything down at once, because I find that as I'm working with sewing things down, some of the pieces will come loose and it just becomes kind of messy, in my opinion, for a block this size. So I'm going to use the pins a decent amount of the time, because I do want to pin a lot of this. I do want to get a lot of these pieces out now. I might take them off, but I want to at least get an idea of positioning now so that I sew my first few pieces down in the right place. So I'm going to start with my little hill at the bottom there. Here's mine. So I am going to match it up with my bottom line that I drew. Sorry, that's the cutting line. So the 1/4 inch from the cutting line is my sewing line. 3 inches from the edge, that's 1, 2, 3. And I've got my 2.5. So that's where I want my hill. I'm not gluing anything down yet. I am just going to pin this so that it doesn't budge if I bump it. So these are just little pins, and I'm just going to put one in there. I think I'm going to do the tree trunk next. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches in from this 1/4 inch end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I want the base of the trunk to show about there. So that's where my tree is going to go. So I made, per the instructions, a 1/4 inch bias tape. That's what it looks like. I use a Clover bias tape maker. I cut the fabric in strips on the bias of 1/2 inch, and then I run them through the bias tape maker, which turns the edges over. And it's actually really easy. For this one they say make 20 inches of bias tape. I think that's about, yeah, this is a 20-inch piece. Since I was making it, I went ahead and made several pieces so I can use more in future blocks. But what I'm going to need to do as I lay this out is cut them down. We have 3 pieces in this block. No, 4. There we go. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I'm going to measure them, go by the grid, but also kind of eyeball. So I will do my best. Alright, so I've got my stems in. Apologies for any times I went off camera. I had to edit it out. You'll see I had to add the wing in there in order to figure out the best spacing for this stem, but they're all good. So these 3 will have leaves at the end of them, and then this one will not. So probably should have thought of that when I was just preparing my pieces, but I feel okay with just tucking it under while I'm sewing around. And yeah, so the stems are in, and that's very helpful for laying out the leaves. Let's start first though with that star up in the corner. Get that figured out. That might be one of the things I can sew down early because it's not touching anything, and it'll go fairly fast. Alright, so there you go. I know the whole block doesn't fit in the frame, but I have everything pinned down where I'd like it. Some things I just kind of double check before I do anything, before I sew anything down. Make sure that nothing is within that 1/4 inch seam allowance, you know, other than something that I mean to sew on, like the hill. But I want to make sure that I don't cut anything off on the sides. I just want to kind of take a step back and make sure I like the colors I chose and the fabrics. There's a lot of different fabrics in here, so and a lot of different pieces, so I could, you know, switch them out. I could say, oh, I don't want to waste the paper, but I think, in my opinion, it's worth it, because for the final thing, you want to make sure it's fabrics you like. That's what I ran across when I did the hill. I just didn't love it, and so I decided, you know what, I know it's a pain to trace and cut again, but I'm just gonna do it, and I'm glad I did. So I like the fabrics, and the layout looks good to me. It looks like there's space for everything, and it looks a lot like this to me. So that's what I am going to settle with. I like it. Okay, I have an update for you. What I decided to do was sew down the stems first. Those are kind of the most finicky because you're kind of trying to mold them correctly as you stitch them, which isn't hard because they're on the bias, so they bend easy, but I wanted to get those worked out. I've got the ones down here done, and so those give me a good baseline. You can see I kept everything pinned down while I did it. That's why some of these things are kind of, you know, flippy floppy, but I think that gives me the best base, and I'm really happy with it. It's going to help me when I take these off and go to put them back down. It'll help guide me for the right position. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take I'm going to take all the leaves off, and I'm going to take the bird off. I've glued down the tree trunk, and I've glued down, I'll probably take the hill off for now. I've glued down these stars here, and we'll keep this pinned down. So next I'll work on the tree trunk and the star, and then I'll just build out from there as I add on each layer. So sitting down and sewing on the prepared pieces is so much fun. Everything is just set and ready to go. I just have like maybe 3 neutrals that I use, and thread. I use the Aurifil 80 weight, and I just sit there and sew my pieces on. It's a lot of fun. So thanks for joining me.